Back in October, the Asian English side of Yu-Gi-Oh! Received Awakened by the Primites. Now, this was a set that released alongside with Rage of the Abyss that has a lot of normal monsters, and it is a really unique set because it imports a lot of cards that they didn't currently have. And when I say a lot of normal monsters, I mean the whole entire set is just full of normal monsters. And this is a really cool thing because I actually really like this idea that they did to import a lot of these normal monsters that Asian English and Simplified Chinese did not have at the current time. And honestly, I really do enjoy seeing this type of, I would say, randomness to the game and uniqueness for the whole entire series of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, a few of these images are missing for some reason, but that's absolutely fine. But it's just a lot of normal monsters, and I think that there's a way that TCG can do this to give us a lot of the missing normal monsters that we don't have outside of things like Pity, Ignis Horse, Dragoneth, and Space Usagi, which is completely fine, and Lightbringer Lucifer, because those four cards are locked behind Tournament Pack or Lightbringer Lucifer being a Monster Strike collab. But when we look at something like the cards that are missing from the OCG for the normal monsters, it ends up being 151 cards, and I call it the Yu-Gi-Oh! 151 because of it's literally what it means. And it's just a lot of cards over time that we still haven't gotten because they were importing these slowly in speed duels. And these are all cards from 1999 and 2000, which is very crazy to think that we're missing quite a bit of these cards. They even have censored artworks, as we saw in Master Duel, because Master Duel has all of these cards, and there's so much to scroll through because there's just that many cards. And realistically, I do hope that TCG finds a way to import these in the future, because there's just so many of these random normal monsters that could help out Primite, because we're still missing a few of these combinations even in the TCG. So there's that. Now, one of the things I do want to get to is the idea, but this set, what is it? 30 parallel rares, 150 commons. And for the Simplified Chinese, it's 200 or 20 normal parallels and 80 commons. And for Asian English, there's 180 cards compared to the Simplified Chinese 100. So realistically, depending on what we get in the last speed duel box, it really sums up to really think of how many normal monsters are going to be remaining, because we won't know till December. And if they import one to make it exactly 150, that would be pretty cool. Now, in my editing software, or my Photoshop, or photo editing software, I should say, because I don't use Photoshop anymore, I kind of made a mock-up of what the pack could look like. And they could literally just call it Primite Awakens, because that's really what it is. And as we can see, it's awakened by the Primite, but this could be bonus or booster set Primite Awakens in the TCG, and I feel like that they would market it with the Primite stuff on the pack, or have it like a Maze of Memories style, where it has a lot of normal monsters plastered across the board. Now, this literally took me about 5 minutes to make because it's super easy. And if I were to make a Maze of Memories style, it would take me longer because I would have to find good images or good quality images through Wikipedia of what iconic normal monsters there are. But I just want to pass off this idea to the YouTube sphere, because everyone I've asked so far in real life, all my friends at locals and stuff, they say that's a really neat idea. They would actually probably buy some of that product just to get some of this nostalgic normal monsters that we're missing, because there's so many normal monsters that people really love that are still locked to the OCG, especially me, because One growing up that I wish we had was something like Twin Long Rod #1, because I constantly always looked it up every single year to see if it got imported. But, Prevail, we also have things like Turtle Raccoon, Torike, and a lot of super nostalgic ones that really are cool. And we also have things like Tao the Chanter, Tatsuno Toshigo. Both of those have retrains in the TCG and yet to come over here. We also have other things, which, in my opinion, we have the recolored version or the non-recolored version, but we don't have the other, because back in the day, 100 normal monsters, they would have a recolor, like Nightmare Scorpion is Giant Scorpion of the Tundra, or something like Mystical Captured Chain, which is probably a recolor of something that we don't have yet, Larvas and Mon Larvas. Those two are super iconic to me because of capsule monsters, because you start out with the Larvas and it evolves into a Mon Larvas. Or maybe something like, I don't know, Masked Clown. This thing used to terrify me as a kid, and it was a useful card in Forbidden Memories starting off. Or we even have stuff like Lunar Queen Elysium, because this is another iconic card that a lot of people would like to see. Even stuff like Leo Wizard, we have Sleeping Lion, and just so many others, even Lala Lioun. This card, a lot of people I know, they really like this card, but it still hasn't been ported over. Crocodilus is here. This is a recolor of Grappler, I believe, if I remember correctly. We have Kappa Avenger, which is Psychic Kappa, or even stuff like, I don't know, Huracal. This is a funny little card here. Horned Imp is a super iconic card from the anime, but it's still not over here. We have Holograph being a recolor to Disc Magician, and there's just so many cards that I kind of wish that we had, but we don't. Even other super iconic cards like Fiend's Hand. This has a different art on Master Duel where it's all green, while we still have Fiend's Reflection #1 still not ported over, while we've had #2 since the beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh! And the TCG. Same for Fairy Witch. This has gotten a retrain in Ange Witch from Memento. And honestly, I kind of want to see a pack like this Awakening by the Primites. Even we have Dorito here, still not imported, while we have like 3 other versions that aren't imported yet. And realistically, I definitely think that this is one thing that Konami can do to import all of these missing cards. Even Dark Chimera is a super iconic card that was used by Panic, and this is the only Panic card that we're missing from the anime that has the wonky attack and defense from everything else, because we have so many other cards like Barox. It's just crazy. And we also have Tristan's card being Cyber Commander, which kind of just shocks me. And Boulder Tortoise too. This card is a nostalgic card for Forbidden Memory players. And realistically, overall, Mystical Capture Chain, Binding Chain is right there. But overall, definitely interesting to see. Even the most memeish card, Bat, being locked behind OCG is still silly even till today. Black Dragon Jungle King is another super iconic card, in my opinion. But I want to know what you guys think about this Primite Awakens idea, because I like thinking of ideas and just a lot of thinking and, oh, how do you even word it? Just a lot of things, just like, oh yeah, I like the thought mentality between what could come and what can't come. And this is one thing that I definitely think that should come to the TCG to import the remaining normal monsters. But anyways, I don't want to drag this off more longer because I could talk about normal monsters all day. But anyways, I've been Bolt Spider. See you guys in the next video, and goodbye.